Good morning. Grace Rizza here. I hope you're having a great day. It's Monday. I'm getting amped for the week, excited to meet my team and get everything going. But I tend to start a little earlier than everyone. And this morning, I took a follow up call with a very nice doctor in the Dallas market. And we were talking about the marketing process for his practice. And he was asking me for some insight into his SEO, and I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, what are you asking for? I could tell you how we do it. I could tell you what's involved. I on our last call went into detail about the build of the site and how it's not lending to decent rankings and how the keyword strategy was off. We looked in detail about at Google Maps and how Google viewed him in his location. And so we already went into such great detail. I was a little confused about the question. And he said, well, I spoke to another agency. I'm doing my due diligence. And they showed me all of these different listings and what was wrong with them. And I'm like, oh, the age old audit. Let's talk about the audit today. So a lot of marketing companies will audit your online footprint, will audit your marketing. They'll look at your listings, they'll look at your website. And these are automated tools, my friends. So you could be first on Google and they could send you a report card saying that you got an F. Okay. But in reality, common sense says you're first on Google. So how are you getting an F in SEO? So it's very important to use common sense and to receive these audits with a grain of salt, especially if you're in a sales conversation with someone or they're trying to earn your business. It really gives a ton of, it really discredits their efforts. And so what they do is there are a few companies out there, probably way too many of them at this point, quite honestly, because this trick has been going on it's been going on for over a decade. And so what they do is they scan the internet and they put your website into it and they put your business name into it and they find every little discrepancy on the internet that they can find and they give you a score. But here's the problem. They're scoring, let's say they score 50 websites and 50 listing directory sites. And they say, well, you have only 10 of them with the right information. All the other 40 are wrong and inconsistent and bad. And Google hates when you have inconsistent information and they're going to penalize you and all this stuff. First of all, it's not really how it works. Second of all, you're never going to have a perfectly clean listing report. It's not that important, number one. And number two, it's not really attainable because the way that search engines work, they are indexing information from all different sources and re-indexing. So if things are cleaned up, pretty well cleaned up, it doesn't mean that old information is never going to be re-released. So it's a bit of a lie in general that you can have a perfect score, but the dentist brain really thrives on perfectionism and attention to detail. And the things that make you a really great clinician make you susceptible to these kind of grades and scores that make you feel like, oh no, it's not being done right. So here's the kicker, okay? These audits are only looking at 5 or 10 real listings. The other, I don't remember how many I said, 40, are owned by the company selling this service. And this service is completely automated, which means all they do is type in your address and your business name and push out that information and tell you that the problem is solved. And now magically, after you pay them and they pay the company that's generating these reports, they all get paid. And now you look like you get an A+ score. But the truth of the matter is, this automation pushes out duplicate listings and it actually is counterintuitive to SEO. So this is one of the examples that I call over automation. When you use technology and automation a bit too far or prematurely, and it doesn't actually have the effect that they promise that it has. So generally speaking, listing optimization is important. And adding robust descriptions, and there are a ton of strategies. I'm not going to go too far into the details, But there are a lot of strategies we use to optimize local listings and get you to the top when it comes to local, organic, and map search results. And they require a lot of work. They require manually getting access to these online listings, manually merging duplicate listings, claiming and optimizing listings that have false information, but they don't include listings that no one's ever heard of, that never come up on the page, that are owned by this third party. They created these sites, okay? And the only way to have a perfect score is to pay them. And the perfect score is this arbitrary thing that makes you feel good, but it doesn't really move the needle with your SEO. So I want to say I'm one of the few marketing agencies that hasn't just jumped on board and paid into this whole scam. It's very effective for them to use these audits and these scores to sell you SEO because it's something that's a little bit more tangible for you. But remember, you can never get a perfect score unless you pay them, and the perfect score has no real value. So, listing audits, they're not real. They're a sales scam, sales tactic, and there's very little real value when you weigh out the negative impact of the duplicate listings on the impact of just having more quantity wise listings on the internet. So, if you're interested in learning more about SEO, follow our channel. You could join our Facebook group, Dentistry is Growing with Grace. We also have a podcast also titled Dentistry is Growing with Grace, or you can find us on our website, identitydental.com. Thanks so much, and I hope you have a great day.